wanted to talk about is last month was Autism Awareness Month, right? And I just love the Holly Robinson Peete and Rodney Peete. You know them, Griffin. Dad played with Rodney in the NFL and stuff. And anyway, so they have a son, RJ. He was a twin, and he has autism. I just melt when I watch this boy. He has crossed every knot that he wasn't going to do. He's driving. He works for the Dodgers. Like he does, you know, the laundry and equipment manager or something. I don't know what his title is. But he's just out there just getting on his life. And it gives me the chills because I know how devastating that is when you have a child that you feel like they're not going to have a good life. And I feel that this kid, when he smiles and he's so full of love, what is autism? What's the purpose of coming in with it? I know they've broadened the spectrum of autism. And is it from vaccines? We've talked about this before. Probably some is from that and some come in with it. But what is the purpose? What is the root of autism, Griff?
Well, let me get my pen and paper here.
Okay.
He said autism, most of the percentage of autistic children we see is man-made.
Okay.
And he says, I don't care how hard they say, you know, immunizations, vaccines, things of that nature don't cause it. That is such an in general statement because there are some people out there who have sensitivities to certain ingredients.
Absolutely.
And that's all it takes at that age for the immune system to get interfered with, you know, from a brain that hasn't developed fully, and all of a sudden it starts to go into slow or sometimes even into reverse, where they were smiling, they were happy, they were engaging, and then after a series of vaccines, that stops.
Amen.
They're no longer smiling, engaging, and talking.
Mm-hmm. I think that's what happened to RJ, from what I heard.
And he said in those cases, he says, without a doubt, it is the chemicals that we've put in them. But there's not enough study. And because they want to keep making their money, and because the outcome of stopping these crazy diseases versus a few kids having autism, you know, more for the majority.
Right. And big
for not
pharma,
having,
and it goes deeper and deeper, I'm sure.
Yes. And he goes, there's some who are born with it naturally, where the cells didn't develop, or they develop in the wrong places in the brain, and it slows the brain down from being what we would call productive at a high speed productivity. Autistic children are productive. They think, they feel, they can do with great accuracy and know exactly what's going on with them. He says it's the way that it is expressed outward to their community, is that the range of emotions is shorter. It's more compact in what they can express, but what's going on in the inside is expanded. So it's like slightly being trapped on the inside, knowing things that you can't converse, feeling things that you can't convey. And he said there are cases where people say they're comatose. You know, they can't even move their body properly. They can't think, they can't eat, they drool. Oh, we're going to write them off. But with new techniques and looking at their brain, all of it is still active. All of it's processing and learning language. And Griffin says he's really impressed with the touch pads and the imaging that some autistic kids use to communicate what's happening. It just takes longer for them to communicate. He's like, think of it this way, people. It's like...
I'm scared for what he's going to say. Oh, Lord.
It's like constantly dealing with a foreign exchange student that doesn't speak your language.
Right. That's actually a sweet analogy. So you're saying a lot of autistic people get everything that's going on just because they're not communicating. Doesn't mean they're not rolling with everything that's happening in a room, and
Yeah, he says it just kind of blocks the way the brain perceives the information in certain ways, but it
Okay.
rewires itself, and it takes more time, and it may not be the most high functioning,
Right.
but it's still productive, it still works. I wish our world would just give him a little bit more time. And he's like, and why do people sign up to come in to be autistic? He swings his arm. He's like, a slew of reasons. A slew. That's a word for you. A slew.
I want to go to life and be totally frustrated.
Yeah. He says, frustrated to have the upper hand, to show people patience,
Right.
to have a more calm,
people, right.
Calm, meditative life.
Right.
That's a good one.
Right.
To be a kid longer.
Right.
He's like, it just goes on and on. There's many reasons.
Right. Well, I'm just so proud of RJ because I can't believe he's driving. And they said on the show last week, they said on the show last week that he has literally crossed off everything the doctor said he wouldn't do. They said he wouldn't say, I love you. He wouldn't do all this stuff. Gosh, he's driving on his own. He has a job. His parents have had to be at the forefront, like get him tested at the DMV, not with the written test because he wasn't able to pass that. But gosh, how many people can't pass that? You don't have to have autism to struggle with that, right?
Yes.
So they did it orally, so he passed it. And then he got a job with the Dodgers, and a lot of autistic kids people never get employment. But now he's telling his mom and dad, catch this, Griff, he wants to move out. He's saving his money. I thought his mom was going to fall flat on the floor. None of us want our kids to move out, but can you imagine? She's like, no. And he's so cute. He warms my heart because every week he says, I just want to be a normal kid. I don't want to have autism anymore. And he'll ask his mom, do I have autism anymore? So sweet, you guys.
That is
I don't want to
awesome.
have that anymore. Mom, do I still have it?
Growing himself out of it.
Right. It's weird because that's what I was wondering. Is there a certain point where you have less of it, or you've done so much therapy, you're just in a different category, or what? Because if he can think of living independently, you guys, how amazing is that? They probably thought he would live with them their whole life, for sure. When he was a baby, I'm sure, when he got diagnosed. I think they're blown away at his progress, It's just a beautiful thing to watch. And how much inspiration they're giving people because so many kids are getting diagnosed with this. So it's giving so many people hope, So many people hope. But they're also working on, when you're autistic, Griff had a lot of tics in life, but you move a lot. So when you get pulled over by police, Andy's a black kid, so they were practicing with the law to show him. And he goes, it was so cute, guys. They go, what do you do when you get pulled over by police? He goes, I call my mama. She goes, no. You do everything the police say. So they literally did, and they're doing this wide movement, taking all these autistic kids and having them practice with real police, pulling a gun out, put your hands on the steering wheel, comply, do everything the officer says. Because to officers, a lot of hand movement means they're in danger. The cop feels they're in danger. So people get shot that way. And autistic people just move naturally. You know what I mean? So they're literally doing it and acting it out. I just think it's beautiful that what they're doing to help people be aware. So they're trying to get something put on the licenses to show cops that they have something.
That is brilliant.
Right? So they're totally in solution mode, which I love watching. But they were practicing, and he was so sweet. You guys, they were saying, put your hands in there. It was scary the way they did it. There's a robber in your area, they were acting out all these different things that could happen with a police officer. They're walking up to the house, and they said, him and his brother, stop right here. And then Rodney comes out of the house and goes, that's my kid. Get the handcuffs. Why do you have my kid handcuffed? And little RJ, big RJ, he's 6 feet something tall, but he totally behaved. You know what I mean? He did everything. He's not going to get shot. I know he's not because they've taught him, you know? And otherwise, they move a lot, and that scares officers. You know, but they say, you match a description of a robbery in our neighborhood, so we're going to handcuff you and ask you a few questions. And then they did that, and then they acted the simulated pullover, like, you were going too fast, or you didn't put your blinker on. Let me see your license. Put your hands on the wheel, and the way you'd regularly be treated. And we're all fearful of not having autism. But I guess police, I didn't know this, but when you move your hands, they're taught hands kill. So they go into fear mode when you start moving around. So always keep your hands up. So that's why when you reach for your pocket or something, they're taught hands kill. So they're already in defense mode when you start moving around like that. And when you have tics and stuff, you're already moving by nature. But how great is that, you guys? They're taking tons of autism kids and showing them this. I think
Griff says,
beautiful.
That's my boy.
Right? Isn't that beautiful? They'll save so many lives. Now I want you to send RJ a girl because I want him to get married. That'll blow his mom's mind.
Griffin said, okay.
Okay. I think he's beautiful, G. There's just something special about this boy. I light up when I watch him. He's going to change lives. He really is. By all that he's done. You know? Poor little thing. He's like, do I have autism? He doesn't want it. I'm like, you know, he does more than other 19-year-olds his age. He has a job. He's responsible. You know what I mean? He's trying so hard. You know?
And doing a great job at it, Griffin said.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. You know, I thought, when they said he had a job at the Dodgers, I was like, okay, what kind of job does he have? Oh my God, they showed him. He does laundry, and he was moving like 90 miles an hour. He really has like huge responsibilities. Like, it's a great job. Yeah. He
said not to worry. He is going to find a sweetheart.
Good.
And he says, you'll be there at the wedding.
Oh, good. I want him. I don't know. There's something about this boy. I just crushing on her boy. I think he's sweet.